Guys, welcome back to a brand new video. I'm RexFinance, and today we're going to be talking about our favorite growth stocks that have been decimated over the past few months, basically since the end of February. Now, 2020 was a tremendous year for a lot of retail investors that are invested in growth and speculative stocks. However, again, ever since February, we've seen those types of stocks take a beating. So in this video, I'm going to explain to you why I think that is. I think there's a reasoning behind all of this and why I think all these stocks are really about to rocket back up. I am shocked that no other YouTuber or stock market influencer has mentioned this before because it is such a big deal. What we have coming up is something called the Russell Reconstitution. Basically, this is where the Russell Index, the Russell 2000, Russell 3000, Russell 1000, rebalances its index, adds and deletes companies and stocks from the index. And obviously, if your company gets added to the index, that adds a lot of buying pressure to your stock price. If your stock is deleted from the index, the opposite happens, and you see a lot of selling pressure, which ultimately hurts your share price. Russell Reconstitution Day is usually the biggest, most active day of trading in the stock market on an annual basis. And because growth and speculative investing has absolutely taken off recently, we've seen a lot of young companies that really haven't established themselves yet establish themselves because we have so many retail investors piling into those companies and legitimizing those companies. We've even seen Cathie Wood, for example, her investment philosophy, innovative growth companies. A lot of people have followed her philosophy, pushing up valuations like we really haven't seen in a long time. Because of this, we've kind of had the perfect storm for these types of stocks to hurt. We've had inflation concerns, we've had tax week, and again, a lot of people probably had to pay capital gains tax on a lot of their investments because most investors were very successful in 2020 especially. But this Russell Reconstitution is something that I think a lot of people are looking past that they shouldn't look past. You can think of it just like when Tesla was added to the S&P 500. Lots of ETFs, lots of mutual funds, lots of hedge funds were forced to add Tesla to their portfolios and go long on the stock. What that resulted in is the stock price obviously going up because there's so much buying pressure and not enough sellers to meet that buying pressure. In 2020, we probably had the most SPAC mergers out of any year ever in the stock market. We had some very exciting IPOs, and again, we've had growth companies come from the OTC markets, join the NASDAQ, and ultimately reach billions of dollars of market cap and establish their foothold in this market. What this has forced the Russell Index to do is research all these companies and potentially add each individual one to the index. This would be a big deal for any company that gets added to this index because again, you're going to have a lot of funds, hedge funds, mutual funds, ETFs, forced to buy into the stock to the tune of millions of shares. And a lot of these young growth speculative stocks don't have that many shares outstanding, so again, there's going to be a lot of buying pressure, not much selling pressure. I don't think I really need to show you how our favorite stocks have performed ever since February, but I'll do it just to prove a point here. Basically, since January or February, Palantir, for example, down 46%. Lemonade stock, down 60%. BNGO stock, down 64%. CRISPR Therapeutics, down 48%. Riot Blockchain, down 69%. And then finally, CleanSpark, one of our favorites on this channel, down 61.5% since February. Now, I want to be clear, yes, I believe inflation concerns and also tax week and a lot of other variables have played into this downturn in small cap growth speculative stocks. However, I think this Russell Reconstitution has a lot more to do with this because all of a sudden, if we go to the 1 year chart on all of these stocks, basically, since the last Russell Reconstitution in June of last year, CleanSpark is up 423%. Riot Blockchain is up over 1,000%. CRISPR Therapeutics is up 63%. BNGO Stock up 950%. And then these last two companies, Lemonade and Palantir, had their IPOs after the latest Russell Reconstitution period. So we can see the valuations on these companies have been pushed dramatically up. Funds aren't stupid. They know that eventually they're going to have to add these stocks to their portfolios as they join the Russell Index, the S&P 500, for example. So in my opinion, what we've seen is a lot of these big money managers purposely push down these valuations because they know they're going to have to be buying into these companies. they don't want to be buying into these companies at all-time highs, right? They want to be buying into these companies at discounts, just like we want to buy into these companies at discounts. And I've already mentioned this, but I want to mention it again. Even this Investopedia article states this in their article about the Russell Reconstitution. They say, many ETFs and mutual funds are constructed to track these indexes. So official index rebalances force these funds to transact large volumes of stocks that move in and out of the index. That means ETFs and mutual funds are forced to go long on the stocks that are added to the Russell index. Now, it's important to note, not every growth stock is going to recover. You're going to have some fakers that probably never recover from this downturn. But I think the ones that are going to be added to this index are going to see a lot of buying pressure to the tune of millions of shares per company come into their stock, sending the stock price higher because it has nowhere else to go but up. There is a vetting process to make sure they don't add companies like Nikola Motor Corporation, for example, to the index. The vetting process is meant to avoid those types of things. Another thing to note, and this is important, if we look at the Russell indexes and their weighted average market caps per holding in those indexes, we can see that each individual stock that I personally covered in this video fits into at least one of these indexes, if not multiple of these indexes. And I only covered a few of the most popular growth stocks. These Russell indexes are going to have to add virtually every single one of these growth speculative stocks that have established a foothold and meet the market cap requirements as well as pass the vetting process. So big money was put in a tough situation. They know they're going to have to add millions of shares to each of these individual stocks likely in the future as they get added to these indexes. But the valuations were at all-time highs. Do they really want to be buying millions of shares at all-time highs? Basically, that is signing your death sentence as a mutual fund. As a mutual fund, you want to outperform the market. You're not going to outperform the market by buying companies' stocks at all-time highs. It's just not going to happen. According to my findings, and I think this is pretty cool, virtually every single stock that is down 50% or more since late February fits into the criteria of being added to the Russell index. So common denominator tells us that, Rex, you might be onto something here. Now, again, this is the busiest trading day of the year. I don't understand why this isn't being talked about because, again, a lot of funds are going to have to go long on these stocks. So now you may be wondering, Rex, when does this happen? You've been talking about this Russell Reconstitution for long enough now. When does this actually happen? Well, it's currently happening is the answer. Rank day has already passed. That was on May 7th. Basically, ranking day is where all eligible U.S. companies are lined up to form the preliminary Russell Reconstitution portfolio. So currently, every company that's going to be added to this index already knows they're going to be added or whether they're not going to be added. Rank day also weights how much money goes to each individual stock in the index. That way, a company with a 90 million market cap isn't weighted as much as a company with 100 billion market cap. Then we have June. This is going to be a big month in my opinion. In my opinion, we are at the inflection point of where these stocks are going to stop going down and they're going to all of a sudden start rocketing up. Everybody's going to be wondering, why are they going up now? But you guys will be able to answer that. June is the month where the rebalanced new Russell index is communicated to the marketplace. So from June 4th until June 25th, that's when the indexes, the mutual funds, the hedge funds, the ETFs, basically all of June, they have to rebalance their portfolio to better follow the newly reconstituted Russell index. So they have June 4th through June 25th to add shares to these companies that are added and sell shares of the companies that are deleted from the index. They also have this time to rebalance each individual holding according to what the Russell index weights each individual holding as. So this is going to be a big deal. I'm going to go on record right now and say June is going to be a phenomenal month for these growth speculative stocks that took off in 2020. June is going to be the month of rebound for these stocks. June is going to be a month where retail investors take interest in the stock market again. June is going to be the most important month of the year. These funds know they have to keep retail investors interested in the stock market, otherwise they won't be able to make money. The only way they can make money is by manipulating what retail investors are doing. So if they flush all of the retail investors out, all of a sudden they can't make money anymore. So I think in June, a lot of these stocks are going to recover back to their all-time highs and maybe even higher. June could be the start of a big new bull trend for these small growth speculative stocks. Obviously, I am not a financial advisor. These are my thoughts, opinions, and ideas. It's up to you guys whether you believe in them alongside me or not. I can't dictate that. I can't legally give anybody advice. But again, these are just my thoughts, opinions, and ideas, my findings from the research I've done on the Russell Reconstitution. And if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like down below. Please share this video as well. We don't want retail investors to lose interest in the stock market because the stock market is the greatest wealth builder of all time. Please share this with somebody that is losing hope in the stock market or their growth stocks. Please, please, please. But with that, guys, have a great rest of your day. I'll be back with a brand new video later this week. Peace out.